everybody, welcome back. Good morning. It is tea time once again. Today we have a little bit of fireside. Has that lap song in it, that smokiness, like if you're just sitting by a campfire. For some reason, I'm in Florida and it's 40 degrees. What the hell is that, guys? What is it? 40 degrees, Florida? I don't know. Anyways, if you haven't picked up any of my teas, go check them out over at darkmoonteas.com. So today is kind of an interesting day, kind of sad, but it just gives you maybe a moment of pause. Well, the question was, can you trust Canon with your videos, your photos, your personal data? And even though that's pretty much the title of this video, I should expand it to any of these companies because they've all been hit with some type of problem, especially when it comes to hacks and data loss and all kinds of other stuff. And I'm always perplexed about this because I come from an IT type of background, of course arts too, but security was always number one. And when there was a security breach, alarms would go off. And people like me, a system administrator, would be notified 24 hours a day in the middle of the night, and we would have to run in to the colo where the servers were, right? And get things fixed or figure out what's going on. And it doesn't seem to be what has happened here. So if you remember back in August, I reported to you that Canon had this ransomware attack. And allegedly at the time, they lost over 10 terabytes of personal data. We'll get into a little bit more deeply in a second. But 10 terabytes, guys, 10 terabytes. That's not 10 megabytes. That's not 10 gigabytes. That's 10 terabytes. That is a crap load of data. All right? Now remember, the data that we're talking about here is personal data. All right? We'll get into the exact what it is in just a second. But personal data doesn't take up a lot of room. Just think about it. First name, last name, city, state, zip code, telephone numbers, and all the rest of this stuff on a party. Now, just a few days ago, Canon finally admitted to this. Now, this is August, all right? They did their research, and now they were getting back to us to tell us exactly what went on. So I want to read to you some of this because while I find it fascinating, I find it sad. And like I said, it should give you a little bit of a pause when it comes to using these services, Canon's or other people's, and how they're currently, let's say, securing your work, your data, your personal information. So anyways, they start out by saying, we identified a security incident, I love that, incident, involving ransomware on August 4th, 2020. We immediately began to investigate. A cybersecurity firm was engaged and measures were taken to address the incident and restore operations. We notified law enforcement and worked to support the investigation. We also implemented additional security measures to further enhance the security of our network. What the hell security are you talking about, Canon? Right? What are you talking about? We determined that there was unauthorized activity on our servers between July 20th and August 6th. July 20th, August 6th. What the hell is that? That's 17 days. You have a bunch of ransomware kids all over the world or who knows where playing free time in your server? 17 days? What the hell? Like I said, insecurity in any type of IT atmosphere that is even closely worth its weight in salt, alarms will be going off. There's a breach. There's someone in that shouldn't be there. There's constantly checks and balances going on in the back end, taking data bits, all right, and authorizing it to data bits that we know that are authenticated, all right? And if one of those data bits shall change, alarms go off and say, holy crap, something changed that should never change. There shouldn't be this. Now, of course, it's going to happen, but 17 days is unacceptable that people are just playing in your server. Of course there's 10 terabytes of data missing. They had forever. I don't know. Anyways, they continue with, during that time, there was an unauthorized access to files on our file servers. We completed a careful review of our file servers on November 2nd, 2020, and determined that there was files that contained information about current and former employees from 2005 to 2020 and their beneficiaries and dependents. 2005, 2020, you lost 15 years of people's data? Really? It continues. The information in the files included the individual's name and one or more of the following data elements: Social Security number, driver's license number, or government-issued identification number, financial account numbers provided to Canon for direct deposit, electronic signatures, and date of birth. Holy shit, guys. That's what? That's everything. That is everything. Social Security number, date of birth, your signature, your freaking electronic signature, date of birth, everything. I mean, this is every single person that was involved in this data breach, that this data was lost. Identity theft. You might just put a stamp right across your face. All right. Identity theft. All right. They can basically take any of these people's identity, and that's basically it. And you're screwed, guys. All right. I'm going to tell you a personal little story in just a second, but you're basically screwed at this point. 15 years of data. Now, what's interesting here is Canon lists all of the companies involved in this data breach. Now, remember, Canon has a lot of companies. Well, look at this list, guys. Look at this list. I mean, we're not talking about just one or two companies that they own. You're talking about 20, I don't know, ton, from medical, biomedical to software engineering to everything. You're talking about a ton of companies. I really don't get it. I really don't get it. Now, you remember in a previous video, I think it was in August, I did another piece about Canon, and we were talking about Canon's image.canon platform, where a lot of the Canon cameras now have this thing where it can upload into the cloud your images, your videos, your data, all right, for safekeeping. And they have like long storage and short-term storage and blah, blah, blah. And they give you like 10 gigabytes of storage. Well, you're going to remember this if you've been watching me for just a little bit. During the beginning of August, I reported on this. And basically, Canon said, on July 30th, 2020, we identified an issue involving the 10 gigabyte long-term storage on image.canon. In order to conduct further investigation, we temporarily suspended both the mobile application and web browser service of image.canon. After the investigation, we identified that some of the photo and video image files saved in the 10 gigabyte long-term storage prior to June 16th, 2020 were lost. We confirmed that the still image thumbnails and the affected files were not affected, and there were no leak of image data. They continue by saying, after having resolved the issue that resulted in the loss of photos and video image files, we resumed the image.canon service as of August 4th, 2020. The thing that I want to point out here is the new information. It says there is no technical measure to restore lost video images. Still images can be restored, but not the original resolution. We offer our deepest apology for the affected users. So to sum up all that nonsense, all right, in layman terms, basically this means that anything that you sent to image.canon prior to June 16th, anything that's larger than a thumbnail is gone. And as they say, there's nothing we can do. There's no technical measure to restore lost video images. And of course, that is the large photos also. So any of your raw images, any images over 2048 on the long side, pixels, I believe, if I remember correctly, from a few months ago. My memory's not too bad. Anyways, all those images are gone. You can get your thumbnails or little, just smaller, 1024 by whatever. That's what you can get. That is it. Every single image, video, anything else larger than that is history with no measure to get it back. All right? So, you know, I look at this stuff and I say, how many people out there are relying on companies like Canon to house their important data, all right? Their images, their videos, all of their originals, only to have that data lost. Now that we see that this data breach, this hack that happened, this ransomware that happened, now that it's being confirmed, we're seeing that thousands and thousands, probably tens of thousands or more, maybe 100,000 people, all right, from 2005 to 2020 that worked for Canon, all of their data is lost. All of their personal data. Like I said, social security numbers, signatures, their friggin' bank account numbers, everything is out there. I mean, you know, they do offer, you know, a service for these people that allows them, I think, 1 year of free identity theft services. But who gives a crap? I mean, you can't fix that. So now the short story that I wanted to tell you, and I'll make it extremely short. My wife had her identity stolen. This was about 12 years ago, 15 years ago, all right? And we don't really know how it happened. I think it had something to do with one of these credit card companies, but however it is, they stole all of her personal information and credit cards and then started using them, buying tickets, train tickets overseas that we weren't even at, right? So the problem is, doesn't matter what identity theft company that you use that supposedly monitor and stuff we've used. The bottom line is the government looks at you as a security risk, right? That anytime that you do anything having to do with filling out paperwork, all right? That could be for us filling out paperwork for our girls' college education, filling out paperwork for loans, sending in our yearly frickin' taxes because we're joint. We have to go to the government and get a special one-time code that we give to, for example, our accountant to do our paperwork, to do our taxes. We can't even do our taxes anymore unless we have this code. And the same thing when it comes to, like I said, schools and loans and anything. And the problem is, guys, this is in perpetuity. This is forever. This is not just something fixed in a year. Oh, we're going to go and take care of you for a year. Who gives a crap? It means nothing. All that data is lost. It's one thing when a company loses, for example, your credit card. Okay, they got your name, they have your address, they have your credit card number, your CVV number, the expiration date. Okay, go buy some crap, all right, on me. And what happens is the card companies will honor it and you won't get charged for it. But this data is not the same. We're talking social security number, birth dates, okay, all of the information that is just ripe for identity theft. So all of these people are screwed. That's the bottom line. So round robin back to image.canon. Do you trust Canon or any other company with your data in the cloud? Especially when it comes to jobs that you do. I don't. I've talked to you guys about this in the past. If you want to have a backup, you have your backup on location, you have another backup on location on a different media type, and then you have a backup off-site in case of fire or whatever. Maybe a secure box someplace, all right? That's a good backup. Now, if you want to send all those images or files, whatever, into the cloud, so be it, because you want to access it when you go, let's say, and travel, that's fine. I understand that, and that's okay. But it is imperative that you have a good backup locally. All right, I use an Unraid server. A lot of you guys have asked me about Unraid and building a server to house all of your data that is secure and easy to do. And I think I'm probably going to do it because a lot of you have been asking me for it. I'm going to put this together because I really think that it's that important. And using a RAID server from one of these companies that I personally don't trust is not for me the way I would go with it. Yes, it's a tiny bit easier, but now you have other problems like proprietary problems. So we can get into that in another time, but just trust me, it's good to build your own with something like an Unraid server that is more generic and you don't end up losing everything if a couple of drives blow up instead of just one. Like I said, we'll get into that later. Anyways, before I go, I want to say that if you haven't downloaded my ebook, go over to JCristina.com/ebook. Once again, JCristina.com/ebook. 10 tips of making tack sharp images. Tack sharp images, guys. There's something in there for everyone. Doesn't matter if you're an amateur, a pro-am, or a professional. There is some good information that you should glean from that ebook. And once again, it's free. Go download it. JCristina.com/ebook. Also, you guys have been asking me about if these were coming back in stock. They are back in stock. This is the Aurora Camera Care product that I created. I did this because there is a lot of people that moved to mirrorless at the time, and they're like, Joe, my sensor is just like a hot mess. There's stuff all in the skies, and I need to clean it. And the things that I'm buying over on Amazon, I really don't trust because they give me something that looks like this, and then a bottle of crap, and then you have to like put in X number of drops, and is there a dry area? Am I going to grind it? How much juice is, appropriate without hurting something? Well, so what I did is I took these and brought them into the factory and had them vacuum sealed like this. So they're sterile, all right? No more of this junk like this. They're sterile, and we have a wet and we have a dry. The thing of it is the wet, when you open it, they're already pre-moistened with the exact amount of chemical on there to clean your sensor safely. Who would have thought of it, right? Right? Well, I did. Anyways, so this is how it's made. And then if you get the ones that have lens cleaner also, they also do the exact same thing, like this. Is that bright? It is bright. Anyways, you have a wet and you have a dry. You clean the lens with the wet, then you clean it with the dry, and everything is just spotless. And we have 2-ply, really heavy duty microfiber. None of that junk that you see with like all ridges and stuff and it's frayed. None of that. This is 2-ply, really, really good stuff. So if you want to pick these up, you can go over to JCristina.com, use promo code YT20 at checkout. You'll get 20% off these or anything else that I have in that shop. You can also pick them up over on B&H Photo and Video. You can go to Amazon Prime and get them delivered for free, whatever. So I just want to tell you guys about these because you've been asking me as of late. So anyways, that's really about it. This is Vlogmas 2. This is episode 2. Can you believe it? I did 2 so far. All right. Vlogmas episode 2. We're going to try to do 12 days, let's say, of Christmas, or 12 Vlogmases. Vlogmases. I don't know, whatever the hell it is. You know what I mean? So I'm going to try to do 12, and if I do more, fantastic. I want to also do some readings for you guys. You guys loved my haunted readings that I did. Maybe I'll do some seasonal readings. Let me know in the comments if you like that. It was fun for me to do. So let me know one way or another. Anyways, I'm going to finish my tea, my fireside here. So good, and let you guys go. I really appreciate each and every one of you being here as always. And if you haven't went over to community.jcristina.com, do that. Go over there, join the Discord server. If you haven't became a member of the channel yet, click the little member button. It's like join. It says join down here. Join. It's a very small amount per month. It's like a Patreon. It helps out the channel a lot. Go ahead and join. And also, don't forget, if you want to be on with me, live or Memorex, okay? Put something in the comment area, get onto the Discord server, let me know, pitch me what you want to talk about, and I will have you on during these 12 days or more of the holidays. Vlogmas. So anyways, guys, many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe and stay healthy.